Happy Thursday, Wesam's World listeners. Thank you for tuning into the show. I'm your host, Wesam Quiche. With me in the beginning part of this episode, as usual, is Peyton Grufick. What's up, dude?
It's weird staring at you like this.
It's the new setup, man.
New setup, and
Yeah? It's good.
you blinked.
I did not know we were doing the no blinking game.
A staring contest?
What?
The no blinking game?
What are you talking about?
It's called a staring contest.
Oh my God. You've already ruined this episode.
What is this no blinking game?
Hey, man.
This bugs me.
I've come in very positive into this episode, and you've already got me at a 9. Okay? That's what I call it, and that's what it's called.
Nobody calls it that.
Get out! You can stay.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Today's a great episode day. We have Sophie Reynolds coming on the show, and I'll give her a proper intro here in a little bit. You can call it whatever you want. Staring game, no
I thought we were
blinking
past
game.
this.
I'm not past it yet. I was going to thank our new subscribers to the show, which I really appreciate, as always, on YouTube. We're growing there. We got a great sponsor again this week, which I'm excited to talk about in a few minutes at the break. This week has been great. Doing more yoga.
Nice.
Exercising more. Things are going great. You're about to travel? Should I say that?
Yeah.
Or you will be traveling by the time this is airing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exciting. Always to travel when you're fully vaccinated now. Now you have no
Yes.
fear of the corona.
That's right.
Yeah. Now when you go to Oklahoma this time, you won't get coronavirus when you come back.
God.
Or you won't get coronavirus there,
No,
I should
when
say.
I'm there,
Yeah.
2 days in.
Oh my gosh. Now, what are you excited the most to go and do in Oklahoma when you're back in Oklahoma? Is there a place to eat that you go to immediately?
There's several places I miss. I
Yeah.
am a sucker for Taco Bueno.
Okay.
It's better than Bell,
Okay.
in my controversial opinion.
Great.
And I know most people will fight me on that. But
Yeah.
that is my guilty pleasure fast food.
Taco Bueno, better than
Taco
Bell.
Bueno is better than Bell.
You know what? Oh my gosh! I just felt a presence enter the studio. It's a good presence. It's
Is
like
it?
It's like a loving father presence has just entered the studio, and it's Tom. I knew it. I knew it was Tom. Tom came into the studio.
I thought it was Sophie. I was like, a loving father presence. Please introduce her with that.
No, we want her to come back on the in the studio. Hey,
She'll come back.
Hey, Tom. I gotta say this. I saw on your Tesla that the rims got a little you hit a couple curbs on the rims.
Oh yeah, all of them.
Oh, that's. Did you feel it, or were you just? Oh yeah, okay.
That's on the Tesla though. It should go, oh, curb, and it's smart car, right?
I don't know. I think you should. You already know when you hit a curb with that kind of car, especially because it's heavy. You feel it. Yeah.
The worst one was going down Lombard Street in San Francisco. You know, the curvy street.
No way.
I made it all the way to the bottom at the last turn.
Bro. Oh. That will ruin your day right there. Well, it still looks cool. It just looks a little, like cool scars. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Actually, it looks cool because I sanded out the rims and I also got new back tires.
Ah, okay.
There we go.
All right. Well, money fixes everything. That's the moral of the intro. Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Tom Chaney, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Oh my gosh. Well, how many minutes are we in? I think we should.
We're at the 4-minute mark.
We're at the 4-minute
I know,
mark.
believe it or not, I was shocked too when I looked at that. We
We're
got
having too
4
much
more
fun.
minutes to fill.
We're having too much fun already. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening live on Adobe Radio, first of all, thank you so much for tuning in live. Send us a tweet or an Instagram message that you're listening. Tag us in your stories. We love to repost, and we love to communicate with our fans. And it's coming back soon. I know we haven't done this in a while, but the No Laughing game is coming back soon. And now Peyton's looking all over the place, which is throwing me off.
Sorry, I think my chair was on one of the cords.
Ah,
but
gotcha.
it's good.
Classic.
Classic.
Classic Peyton on the chords. That's how it goes. We will be bringing back the No Laughing game soon once I figure out a way to work around copyright issues with videos, etc. And we will let you guys know what will happen with that. And we want to have a big, extravagant version of the No Laughing game. And I want to give out bigger prizes this time.
Yeah.
Big prizes. Okay.
Teslas.
Tesla rims. Just the rims. That's all we
Don't
can
have a
afford, right?
Tesla?
That's okay.
Go get one.
Go get one. We'll give you a rim. You can pawn it.
Just one. We don't even give them 4. Just one rim.
One rim, bro. One rim. Okay.
Hey, I thought these were big prizes, man.
It's a big prize. That's a pretty big rim, sir. We had a couple of great episodes before this one. Make sure you tune into those. We had our first guys' night in a long time. And I got to say, we kind of recorded the last few episodes in bulk. And one of the best things about the guys' night episode we just recorded, the humming game.
Yeah.
At first, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be funny or whatever. But it turned out to be absolutely great.
Is it Thriller?
Is it?
Is it Thriller?
What was great about it is realizing all three of us are tone deaf,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's just the beats that we're humming. So it's like, and we're like, what are you singing, bro? That was a lot of fun. We got into a lot of heated arguments, which I love. And I think that's important, too,
It is important.
to videotape and audio record
Yes.
all your arguments with your friends.
To let people know when they are wrong.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And not only let them know when they're wrong, but penalize them. for
Yeah.
that, you know?
Yeah,
Punish
yeah.
them
Yeah.
for being wrong.
Yeah.
Or having an opinion.
Yeah.
That's the lesson today. If someone has an opinion, punish them for it.
That's right.
If it differs from yours.
That's right.
Because that's what the world's about, right?
That is.
That sounded like gunshots, and that couldn't have come at a better time.
Get down.
Get down.
We have opinions.
We have opinions that differ from yours. Oh my gosh. We're nerds here sometimes. Most of the time we're nerds.
Most of the time.
It's okay. Hey, thank you for GTA announcing that they're going to have GTA 5 on PlayStation 5 now.
They've announced that.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Thank
Yeah.
you. Like, I was being sarcastic with that. Like, instead
Oh.
of announcing GTA 6, they're like, hey, we'll just make it for the next console.
Dude, you ain't getting GTA 6 for another 2 years. At least. At least.
Bro. And I'll be completely frank with you. If it takes place in the 80s, I'm going to be disappointed.
Oh, that'd be fun, though.
No.
We need something to spice it up, though.
I don't want to go into the 80s time era. There is nothing cool. With Vice City that came out,
Yeah.
that was all right. I mean,
You
it
don't
was
like
fun.
time period?
It just depends, because if you're doing a whole 80s time period, like, there's just, all right, I'm stuck in the 80s.
Are you one of those people when, like, Call of Duty went back to World War II? You were like, not
No.
a fan.
No, because it was
Okay.
engaging enough. It wasn't over the course of the whole, like, that campaign is what, 8 hours? Oh, speaking of, dude, this is going to be a freaking great episode. Been watching Markiplier play the new Resident Evil Village game. Hey, how the heck did you beat it in 2 nights?
I beat it in 8 hours. That's
Okay. That's absolutely crazy. How did you do it?
I just played the game. What's stumping him?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think we need to go.
No, I didn't like 100% the game. Like I wasn't like I'm gonna go find every treasure chest,
right.
every.
Well,
but,
still,
like,
that's pretty. That's pretty.
that's what I hear it is. I hear it's an 8 to 10 hour game. Maybe Markiplier's just bad at video games.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't. Hey, I like him. I like Markiplier. He apparently doesn't. I will say this: it's been really enjoyable watching him play, and I kind of wish Corey was playing them right now. Corey Kenshin, because I actually enjoy his video game play as well. Shall we introduce our guest today?
We shall.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this guest came on right in the heyday start of Wesam's world. She came on with a good friend of mine, Karan Brar, and I've been wanting to have her back, and now we were able to get her back. So this is really exciting.
Wow.
What?
Such the buildup.
Yeah.
We wanted to have her back. We got her back.
We got her back. That's the facts, man. That's the facts.
That is the facts.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's episode is with Sophie Reynolds. You might recognize her from a Gamer's Guide to pretty much everything, and also LA's Finest. She also has a bunch of other acting credits, as well as she is heavily involved in the Cameron Boyce Foundation, and we're going to talk about that, her life, what's been going on, acting, etc. And before she comes on, this is a word from our sponsor, Pretty Litter. Everything I do for my cats, Romulus and Remus, is rooted in love, even when they're testing my patience. I always want what's best for them. For example, love is letting my cat sleep in my lap when I really need to get up. Love is accepting that my furniture will never be 100% claw-proof. It's like at 95% there. We built a huge cat tree for them. That's love right there. Love is also opening the door to let my cats in and out a million times a day when they're meowing in my face. Listen, love is also keeping tabs on my cat's health, because nothing is more important than their health and well-being. That's why I use Pretty Litter. Pretty Litter is the best litter for your cat, period. It changes colors to help detect early signs of potential illness, including urinary tract infections and kidney issues. I think that's probably one of the best features of kitty litter. Obviously, they can't talk to you and say, hey, I think I have a urinary tract infection, Wesam, because if they did that, they have magical powers. Litter box cleanup is easier also with Pretty Litter. It's ultra absorbent. Crystals trap odor instantly and last up to 1 month. Guys, the smell in my house has gone completely away. Seriously, this stuff they use in there to absorb the liquid and the smell is absolutely mind-blowing. Plus, Pretty Litter is safer for your cat and for the whole household, because many conventional litters contain irritants that can aggravate allergies and asthma, but Pretty Litter's super tight crystal base minimizes mess and dust. And Pretty Litter arrives safely at my door in a small, lightweight bag. Shipping is free, and I never have to worry about storing bulky containers. Love is putting your cat's health first with Pretty Litter. Do what I did and make the switch today by visiting prettylitter.com and use promo code WESAM for 20% off your first order. That's prettylitter.com, promo code WESAM for 20% off. prettylitter.com, promo code WESAM. Yeah, I have the Ring app the Ring on
Yes.
my door, and it comes with the neighborhood watch thing.
Those are fun.
Ah.
They're a little, but see, that's why I don't have it. I'm way too afraid. I feel like the paranoia would get insane because people just report everything.
Yes, and I've noticed recently the stuff they are reporting is it's just more petty crimes, you know.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's not like murders happening right outside my doorstep, which would
thank God.
really get me crazy.
Yeah, no.
But no, we're Valley people. So
We are.
the
Gotta
Valley
love the
people.
valley.
Yeah.
I'm glad the weird fireworks everyday thing stopped during. Do you remember that in COVID? It was sounded like some sort of firework was going off like every day, like 9 o'clock during all of lockdown. I don't know if you heard it where you were, but I was like, it was the most mysterious thing, and it was driving me insane. The paranoia. I was like, what is this organization that keeps? Who's doing it?
Here's an even more mysterious thing, if that's crazy for you. Downtown LA, there are reports of loud explosions going on constantly, and they don't know what it is.
See, it kind of sounded like that, but we just kept saying it was. I don't understand where the fact that you can't find the explosion. Where is it? We're in the middle of a city. It can't just go away.
Right.
confusing.
What's being slammed down so hard? I heard it last Sunday. That's why. I was like, what was that?
Yeah.
It's pretty terrifying.
Someone's just really into loud noises, I guess.
Yeah. Are you into those kind of mysteries or like supernatural phenomena or the new UFO things that have been just coming out more and more?
I feel like I'm less into the like supernatural thing. I'm definitely into like I went on the murder podcast binging thing that everyone has done, and I like crime shows. But I don't know very much about like the UFOs and all of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The thing is, I don't like believe or disbelieve any of it. I'm like, it could exist. I could buy it, but also, I don't know. Is it worth worrying about? Wouldn't they have attacked us by now?
Right. That's actually a good point. I don't know. The stuff that the U.S. military is releasing now,
It's very interesting.
it's kind of hard to fake at this
No,
point.
I agree. I agree. I've seen it. I don't think it's fake.
Yeah. I just don't know what it is.
I don't know what it means for us. That's my thing.
Yeah. What does it mean
What
for
does
humanity?
it mean? What does it mean?
Yeah.
It could be real, but what does it mean?
Yeah. Are they observing?
Did
Are they underground people who live in the intricate cave systems of the earth? I don't know.
I don't know either.
This podcast has just taken a turn.
It really has. It really has.
It's really good to see you.
It's very good to see you too.
You're looking great. You've got a good
Thank
energy
you.
and vibe about you.
Thank
and
you.
It's even better from the years ago I talked with you on the show.
I have hair now. I think the last time I saw you, I had a shaved head still.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I feel like I'm freshly vaccinated and excited to be in the world, kind of. Also nervous. So I feel like that is, the glow or like getting back out there and everything feels kind of exciting and different. But
Yeah.
thank you. You look great too.
Thank
it's good
you.
to see you.
Thank you. What are you nervous about?
Well, I keep thinking that I just haven't had to have like small talk or conversations with people that I don't know that well in a really long time. And I like people, but it's just been an interesting thing that I'm like, this is even just like when I walked in here and I was like, I have a mask, but I'm vaccinated. I was like, what are we doing? It's a weird thing to sort of navigate the return back to normal. I feel like everyone's probably talking about this, but it's like, it's just interesting.
Well, yeah, it's also interesting from people's perspective you want to hear about. And I'm always curious in how people, now what are they looking forward to? Now that we've gone through this, what are they doing to get back on track,
Yes.
Especially with our industry. And as much as I am been the positive things about self-tapes,
Yeah,
there's a lot of positive things about them.
so many.
Put me back in the room. Call me back into the casting office because
Yeah.
that's where I thrive.
That's how I feel. Like, I feel like especially before all of this, I was very much like, oh, self-tape, I'll never get it. Like, self-tapes were not it to me. Now I feel so adjusted to them. I'm almost afraid to go back in the room. But I kind of miss the adrenaline of it, and I think I need it. I think it helps. I like the connection with, like, casting. I'm with you. Like, I want to go back into the room. I don't know when that'll happen. I feel like at this point, casting's so well adjusted to self-tapes, too. I don't know.
Well, one of our buddies said that his buddy went into the room recently for the first time. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's exciting.
Okay. I hope it's shifting that way because
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but whenever I've gone into the rooms and maybe I'm not so sure with the character direction, I'm like, okay, this could go this way, or this line
Yeah.
kind of is the keystone for what this character is going to the tone of the whole thing. So it's good just to go in there and get that clarity from the casting director real quick, and then you do your stuff. Or you just make a strong choice, and then they tell you, actually, it's more this way. And you're like, oh, okay.
There's something really comforting about knowing that I feel like I love notes. I love direction. Like, as an actor, I love it. And so I like knowing that I can just have someone like you said, redirect me. Like, oh, you're just missing what we want. It's like, oh, you made a choice, but it's just not what we want. I love to know that. And I feel like with self-tapes, you're just never going to know. They're just going to pick someone else. And that is like, I hate that because I don't know. I like that sort of feedback and that ability to change up.
Absolutely. I like that.
comforting.
I'm the same way with you. I like direction
Yeah, me too.
because, cool, here's the skeletal structure, here are the boundaries, and let me play in those boundaries, and I'll get what you need.
Yes.
It makes me feel comforted, too, knowing the director has a clear vision, or the producers, or whoever. That way
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I trust these hands I'm in.
Same, and I'm really big on that on sets, and I like the idea that I'm not doing it alone.
Right.
Which, I mean, maybe there's like a little bit of it, you have to trust yourself in it.
Yeah.
And I do think it's important to like bring your own opinion, but I think that is like what makes it an art form is like we all are, there's a bunch of people contributing, and I like that, and it's helpful to me and comforting to know that like other people have a strong way they want to do it and want to present it and like have my back in that sense.
Right.
Which is why I like direction. But
So what do you do when there's not this direction? How are you handling these self-tapes then? Whenever you're kind of lost, what do you do?
I've gotten so used to it. I also like pretty much do every self-tape with Karin.
Who?
Mr. Karin Barr.
Never heard of him. Never.
Yeah, small actor. I don't know if you would have just done a couple things.
No. Anyway,
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, kind of a terrible guy. Also my best friend. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I do like all of them with him, and he does all of his with me. So like at this point, that kind of helps too, because I feel like we have a bit of a partnership. Because used to hearing the same voice every time, although again that'll be weird in a casting room, and then also like good at knowing how to give each other notes if needed. So I trust his opinion a lot, and that helps. But honestly, it's been really weird adjusting to it, just kind of having to like shoot in the dark every time. I think it's been sort of freeing in some ways. I've learned to really just let go of every self-tape and really listen to what I think would be interesting. But I still miss the direction.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest.
It's good though that you have someone you trust with,
Yeah.
especially as a scene reader. That's so critical
Yeah.
for self-tapes.
Oh, I feel so lucky, especially because when we first went into lockdown, we lived together. So like people were doing tapes over FaceTime and stuff, and we were already locked down and just like doing it at home. And that has been the best.
Oh yeah.
It's really nice.
Oh yeah. I've worked with a wide variety of people for self-tapes, and first of all, I feel blessed that I have my go-to people,
Yeah.
which is like three people like I can go to, or 4 people. And I know I'll never need like a reader. Like I don't have to worry about that, which a lot of people have trouble with. And,
Totally.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I had a buddy of mine, he was using a friend on Zoom to read the other parts, and you can't even hear the person on the Zoom. And I'm like, call me next time.
Yeah.
Don't do this. This is not gonna help you. So
Well,
just
that's
call
how
me.
I feel too. Like, I actually really like helping people with self-tapes, which I think is a little weird maybe, but I think it's kind of fun and sort of interesting. And like, I know it's not very fun for them, but I'm like, oh, I kind of want to see. And I like to read scripts, so I like to know what's like coming through. And so I always feel the same. I'm like, just call me. I don't mind helping, but it's funny because back in the day when I was like a kid, I hated reading with my mom. So, and like self-tapes were very like rare at the time, but I didn't have any actor friends when I moved here. And so I would have to go sometimes and like pay for readers and stuff just because it was like better than reading with your parent, which can sometimes just feel really weird because, she does her best, but it's like that relationship is always so established that it's kind of hard to break.
Yeah.
And oh, I'm so glad I don't have to go into a room with like readers that I don't know. And that was never a good situation. I feel really lucky. That is like, I guess not advice, but like find a couple people that you can really trust to do tapes with. It changes your life.
Absolutely, and I think you can communicate with them your boundaries. What I like is whenever I go and I'm self-taping with somebody and they take charge, what do you need? I'm not here to give you notes. If you don't want notes, that's fine. If you want notes, I'll give you my perspective, but you take charge. You're at the helm, and
Yep.
setting up those boundaries and making sure, like my brother, he's a music producer and he's a musician and he's a musical artist, and so he's been getting into acting as well. And one time he started giving me notes, and I had to go, oh, no, I don't need that from you, in the most respectful way possible. Like, I just need you to read these lines and I'll take care of the rest. But thank you. I
Yep.
appreciate it. And he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to stop. I was like, no, it's fine.
It's totally a thing that you have to know like the boundaries and being able to set that up. Sometimes that is a thing where it's like, oh, I just let me know if you want my notes.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'll just press record. Like
Yeah.
happy to do it. Yeah, that is an interesting dynamic though. It's a funny thing because sometimes people don't. If you don't like establish that, egos can get in the way, can get weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also like, as an actor, you don't always want notes. Like sometimes you feel like you know what you're doing with it, and you're the one who read the full script, and you're the one who kind of knows. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's I've gotten one of those notes before where I'm like, yeah, in the script it doesn't say that, so I'm not going to do that. But thank you.
Exactly.
So I'm so abrupt with it and curt that I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta stop this.
Yeah, we're saying that we like notes, and then we're like, actually, not that one.
Right. When it
actually, no.
totally differentiates from what the script or the character does.
Yeah.
How do you then work? Because I'm curious what you do.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do whenever, let's say you have a character breakdown, and then the sides are not, they don't make sense like for the character, or they're not from the script, and so they're just throwing these words that don't make sense for your character to say.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I still feel like I'm figuring out what to do. Don't really know. I think with that, I always go with as much the breakdown as I can, and then also I try and kind of, for lack of a better way, like you can kind of build a different character. Like you have a script breakdown, and then you have these like clearly dummy sides, and you have to figure out how to meld them together. And then sometimes I think it's something that's sort of in between what they asked for. But I also feel like character breakdowns are often not like what they exactly want anyway. Like if you read the script, you'll be like, I feel like this character is written a little differently than this breakdown I got. And I always think that that's interesting too.
Yeah.
Because breaking down a character, breaking down a person into like 3 words is really difficult. Like, oh, they're charming. Like, okay, so you know what I, like, there's only so much that you can say, or it's like, oh, they're, brooding because they have a dark past. It's like, okay, that's interesting, but I don't necessarily know what that means for like these random ass sides that you gave me.
Yeah.
So I think it's just sort of, it's getting creative with it is what I would say.
How do you ignite that fire in you, then, that creativity, that unique Sophie flair that you can put on the tape?
I don't know. I had a really incredible acting coach. Her name is Claire Chubbuck. And I think she really taught me a lot. And one of the things that she used to say to me is like, I would read a script and I would like self-direct it kind of. Like I would envision what it would look like. And then I would be so married to what I thought that this should look like that wasn't creative at all. Because I was just, and so she used to basically make me do the opposite of every stage direction or like cross them all out. And it's just like a thing that we did. And it really helped me sort of think about it as more of a collaborative process and less like, I also think that comes from being on Disney when when you have a script like that that's all jokes and it's all very set and it's all like there wasn't a lot of like, what do you bring to it? It's like, I think I was so programmed to like, well, this is how they want it and I know this is how they want it and I will do that very well. And I think sort of figuring out how to make it more interesting by not fixating on what they want, because they don't always know what they want. Like they also want your interpretation. Like directors want to know, I mean, sometimes they don't, but for the most part, they want to know what you think of it too. And I think I didn't have that a lot as a young actor. Like I didn't know what I thought of it. And so for me, it's a lot about just like not taking it so literally. That's what I would say. Not taking the words on the page so literally.
Yeah.
That's a very actor-y thing to say, but...
No, well, maybe.
The whole conversation is, though, here we are, and like, acting. I always feel like that. I'm like, oh gosh, no one wants to hear me talk about this,
I want to hear you talk about it. That's what's important.
Actors do. Other actors do. Like, it's interesting. I think it's interesting, but...
I like knowing how cool people solve creative problems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. That's one of my things. Mm-hmm. And because I'm constantly trying to do that.
Same. What do you do? Like, what do you do when you get a script and you feel like...
Well, I scream at my agent. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Step one.
This is horse shit.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah,
First of all, I'm trying to do more of this. First and foremost, I'm thankful for the audition in itself, the opportunity to create and to produce my art, no matter how, I'll just say, no matter how crappy I think it is. I'll be like, you know what?
That's
okay.
hard to remember to be grateful.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. Oh, this is an old mustard and turkey sandwich. Great. I don't like mustard. Wonderful. I thank you for the sandwich with a smile.
Yep.
So, I try to do that as much as possible. The second thing I do is I try to remind myself of I have to make this truthful to me, because truth will resonate through anything. So if I'm being genuine and truthful, that will resonate through the tape, even if it's not perfectly what they're looking for. Yeah. And those are the two things. And also have fun with it. That's something that I like, seeing actors have fun with stuff, or creatives have fun with things. And so that's what makes it enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
So I try to remember those three things whenever I start it off. And usually something positive gets produced from it.
I think that that's a great way to approach it. I always, at the end of the day, that's like, I tell Karan this all the time, and same, like, he'll remind me, it's like, just have fun with it. Just do one where you're just completely having fun. Because that tends to bring out the best work.
Yeah.
Even if it's fun but crying, it's like, it's still fun.
Absolutely. I know that's a hard thing to explain to non-actors or people who are in the arts. It's like fun to do a dramatic scene. Yeah. It's actually, depending on, I don't want to say it's more so or less so, but sometimes those dramatic scenes for me are easier to ground myself, because I'm tuned into that more and I could just connect with my scene partner. The comedy stuff, it's like you have to have a good reader so you can bounce off of each other really well. You need a lot of moving parts to make the comedy to work. There's so much
timing involved that you have to have. That's why also self-tapes can be hard with that. It's tricky. Do you have a preference between drama and comedy in general?
No, I just want to do anything good.
Me neither. That's how I feel.
Yeah, just good work.
I also think it like oscillates for me in the sense that, like, if I'm like, oh, I want to do drama, and then I do like drama, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm kind of sick of this and I want to do comedy. It's just like I want to do whatever is exciting is kind of how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm like, I'll give me anything.
Anything at all. I know. Right now, I'm like just dying to work. And I also think that all of my favorite things are both drama and comedy. Like, every favorite thing I watch is. Yeah. And so I'm like,
it's been hard for me to sit down and watch actual TV shows during the break.
I feel similarly. I did more at first, and then I kind of burnt through it, and now it's like 90% reality TV is what I'm watching. I don't know why.
I get to, I don't know if tantalized is the right word. Tantalized? I do want to be in the scene. Yeah. And so I start acting like, oh, which one of these characters would I most likely play? Or, oh, I would love to play this role. And then I start rewinding it and acting from my computer screen or with my TV as the other person.
That's kind of interesting, though.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I look like an insane person doing it. If somebody were to look in my window, they'd be like, oh, that guy's crazy. Cool.
No, but that is like really loving it for sure. In a sense, like that's really cool. I think I really did like grow up loving just good TV. And so that is the thing for me that has always been, like, I love film and I do love film, especially now. But like, I think in my head, I was always like, it'd be so cool to be on just a really good TV show. And so I do kind of feel you in that sense, that nowadays I'm just like, I just want to do that. I just want to do that so bad. Because we've just been at home so much. Yeah. But
your energy and you being here is making me want to be creative. So I got to say that whatever positivity you're bringing out, you got to keep that, because it's making some good vibes, that's for sure.
Thank you. That's a very big compliment.
Yeah.
I like that. It's kind of making me want to be creative. I also feel like this space is so cool and creative.
Oh, yeah. It's pretty unique. I dig it a lot. I have a buddy, his name is Charles Michael Davis, horrible actor. I teased him a little bit because he loves art and he collects a lot of art. Yeah. And he's like, who's the artist? I'd love for them to probably do a mural for me. And I'm like, oh.
That's so good. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. Towels, that's their name.
Yes.
Towels? Yeah, Towels.
We were just debating this. I believe it is Towels based on that.
Yeah.
It almost could have been an I, but I think it is Towels.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Did you say, but it's definitely Towels.
Yeah, I think it's Towels.
For sure, no.
Because everything's it seems lowercase.
Yeah,
who knows?
glad we got that one sorted out.
Yeah. This was the purpose of you coming on the show today. Was
pretty much.
To do detective work to figure this out.
Yeah.
Things are hopefully getting back up to speed work-wise or auditions?
Yeah, I feel like I'm auditioning quite a bit now, which
Yeah.
is nice. That even feels good because for a minute there we weren't. I felt like I wasn't even going. But yeah, I feel like I'm auditioning a good amount, and yeah, kind of just looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
Right now, and that's
Same.
a waiting game for sure. I wrapped the last thing I did like a week or two before the pandemic
Wow.
shut down, so I haven't worked in like a year now. I'm like, get Nancy.
Samesies.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. How are we on the break? Do we got to take a break? 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, I've been out of work for a while as well, and so it's
tough. It's tough because I feel like I always joke I'm like a better person too when I'm working. Like I need that outlet to like get my energy out into.
Of course,
Like,
you're happy, you're
yeah,
working, you're
yes.
making money.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just like, it's a very, but it's an interesting thing too, right? Because we went into this pandemic and everyone's like so not used to downtime. And as an actor, I feel like I'm 100% on, it's like 16-hour days, or I'm doing nothing at all. Like I'm just so first I felt like I was thriving, self-managing my time. I was like, I know how to do this. This is what I do every hiatus. I don't quite feel that way. Now it's been a minute. Now I'm like, all right, I feel a little bit out of whack like the rest of the world felt at first, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's too much downtime.
Oh, way too much.
Not like I know how to balance my life as well, especially if I'm working a lot and know when to take my breaks I need.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot stand having too many, not acting enough, like being on set and working
same.
those long days. Those are the best days. The best days.
Yeah, I agree. It's an interesting thing. Like the last set I worked on, I was like only there like maybe a couple days a week.
Mm-hmm.
But it was for like 16-hour days. But even that almost felt like too much downtime because I was like, I'm working like 3 days a week. And that's not even, that feels like I'm still not doing anything. And I do have a job. But it was like, it's an interesting thing. I do feel like I just do so much better when I'm busy.
Yeah. Idle hands keep the devil. No,
No, there is a saying. I know what you're thinking.
the devil likes idle hands. That's not it.
No, idle. I don't know.
Idle hands are the devil. Maybe that's it. I
Sure.
don't know. Somebody comment below and let us know what we're trying to say, please.
Sure. You had no idea. I mean, I do know, just don't at all. Also,
Do you know the movie Idle Hands?
I don't.
I thought it was a cool movie growing up, and it was about a guy whose hand gets possessed by the devil or a demon,
Ooh,
and
exciting.
so he cuts it off
Okay.
because it's like killing people. And then when he cuts it off, it's actually running around now and doing all these like murders and trying to kill people. Seth Green is in it.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was the coolest thing growing up. I was like,
It sounds
oh.
like it. It sounds like it.
It was one of those 90s films where like the main guy is dressed as the cool guy or the guy you want to be in the 90s,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
underdog. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I
That's
can
me.
relate.
Yep. No, I get that. Do you ever audition for horror movies?
Yeah.
I hate auditioning for horror movies. It's
Oh, why?
always just so much screaming and crying. Like, I also don't know if that's like, sometimes I think that is given more to girls as well. But I always joke, it's like every time there's a horror movie, it's like I'm getting stabbed and I'm crying and it's like, don't kill me. And I'm like, oh, I have a hard time with that in like a stale white room. It's just not my favorite thing.
I feel ya. We got to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll be talking some more. Stay tuned.
Yay.
I had a horror movie audition recently, and not recently. Recently. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was probably like a year and a half ago at this point.
Okay,
2
but
years.
that somehow still feels recently. I feel like the last year didn't exist. I don't know.
It was one of those things where I had so much fun in the self. And see, this is the beautiful thing about acting, as you know, like there is no guidebook.
Yeah.
So this self-tape I did originally, I was having so much fun with the character, and it was great. And then I
Yeah.
go into the room, and the director seemed very cold towards me. Yeah. I got the vibe that they had already cast somebody else, or I was not their top choice.
Been there.
And I was like, okay, cool, I'll just do it. And then I did the first scene. He was like, cool, you could do the second scene. And I'm like, all right. Can I? Thank you.
Yeah. It's such an interesting experience. It always will be. It's always like so different every time and so the same.
Yeah. And then sometimes you have really warm rooms. And they bring out the best in you.
Yeah.
I'm always curious what they're thinking after you leave. You'll never know.
No. I also don't really know if I want to know, always.
Oh, yeah?
Well, like, I do. I'm curious, but I'm like, deep down, do I want to know? Like, would that be... I feel like it's better to just leave and be like, I did what I did, and that's that, and, like, not think too much.
Yeah. I liked it when... I like the weeks where I have 4 or 5 auditions, and I'm just slammed from appointment to appointment to appointment. I love those days too, those weeks too, where you're just, it's audition weeks coming up.
Yes. Those almost feel better too than when it's like one-offs, because each audition, I think a big thing about auditioning well is not placing as much importance on every individual audition. Like, they're important and you want to spend a lot of time, but for me, I get so anxious that if I'm like, I have to get this job, this is the only audition I've had in months, it's like do or die. And then that is like too much pressure for me to act well under.
Do you do anything to stop yourself from being nervous then before your audition?
I have tried many things. There's a minute there where I used to like, it's funny because I'm not actually that nervous. I haven't been able to figure out what exactly like makes me so nervous about the process, and I've gotten so much better now. Like, I'm not quite like that anymore. But when I was young, there was a minute where I was like taking lavender oil with me, and I would like smell it before I walked in rooms because it just like is supposed to calm you. And it did, I think, kind of help. But for me, it was just a lot about reminding myself that it's like, it's really just not that big of a deal. Like, they really have seen so many people today. And it really isn't like the end of the world what happens in that room.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And like just trusting that I will be fine. If it doesn't go well, like I'll probably still be fine. You know? And then that's and I also think that just comes with years of like now now I see the same casting directors all the time too, and there's sort of familiarity in that, and knowing that it's like not the one shot you have to impress them. Like, there's nothing worse than going to the big casting office with like all of the big movie posters, and it's like the first time you're in there and you're like, I have to make an impression on these people. And, you know, now I'm like, okay, this business evolves, and like these casting people are always looking, and they're, you know, it's more of a relationship than it is just like a one-off, if that makes sense.
100%.
Yeah.
I think and I think I'm fair to say you're putting away all the negative, extreme ideas and scenarios that are out of your that are coming into your head. You're putting them to the side and looking at everything from a realistic point of view. Like, what really is happening here? What is my purpose of being here? And all the other distractions, kind of putting them to the side. It's really interesting. People watching at the auditions, like the actors in the room.
Yeah.
It's
so interesting.
I
kind of miss that, actually, now that you say it. I'm like, oh, I kind of miss watching actors in a room.
Yeah. I know I'm going to hear this, and we're all going to hear this. Like, you guys happy to be back in the room? All right.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, a million times over.
All right. Yeah, we're back. We're back.
So many times.
Everybody get vaccinated?
Yeah, That one person's going to, like, high-five the assistant. Like, so good to see you again.
Bro. Oh my gosh.
Cringe.
I love cringe stuff like that.
It's so good though. It's so good. I do miss it now. Now I'm like, wow, what I would give to be in like a slightly cringy audition room where everyone's just too on edge for their own good.
Yeah. Oh, like the new actors, you know, the 2 headshots, 2 different looks coming in there. You just feel their energy. I love it.
Do you remember your first audition?
Professional one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was pumped for The Mentalist.
Oh.
It was my first guest star audition.
Wow.
I came in there and I was ready to rock and roll. I booked it.
Wow. Hell yeah. That's a great first audition story.
It was. You want to know how much of a psycho I am, though, mentally, like what I go through? So I saw the other actors in the room, and immediately I'm like, this is going to sound like I am a crazy person, where I was like, I'm going to beat all these guys.
Oh my God, that's
Like
amazing.
if we're fighting, I'm like,
Uh-huh.
I'll rip everybody apart in here. And it's all like 16-year-old like dudes like
yeah,
me,
like
and I'm like, hi.
Yeah.
Like.
Ugh.
And I saw a guy, and this is what took me like to a really great place. He was about to go in, and the casting director goes, "Can I have your headshot?" This is when they're still taking headshots, right? And he goes, "Oh, I didn't bring one." And I'm like, "Oh, you idiot. I brought a headshot. This is mine."
So good.
That was mine.
No, that's a good first audition story.
Yeah.
I feel like that was really mine did not go that well. I think aside from like commercials, and I like back when I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I did like a short film where I literally played a dancer because I was a dancer, so I auditioned as a dancer. So I don't really count that. Like I had dance auditions prior, but my first like real professional acting audition was I think for like a Sally Field movie. Like it was like a legit thing that I was so underprepared for. I think I'd been in one acting class. I did not know what I was getting into, and I like knew my lines. I think I was visiting LA at the time. I don't even think I'd moved here yet. And I went in and I think I like blacked out. And I know I got through the audition and I know I said all the lines, but I just remember walking out and being like, yeah, I'm never going to see that person again. Like there's no way I got that job. It was not my best start, but it was good because I also immediately after that, I remember being like, I'm not doing that again unless I'm like fully prepared. Like I want to be in class and I want to I'm not just putting myself in that position anymore.
I love that.
I think I was like 15 and I was just like, that's not happening, which is good. I guess I was always like a preparation person from dance, and I kind of can't believe I even went to the audition in the first place. But
that's so crazy to me. People who don't like consistently don't like. I give you a pass because you were younger, correct?
Yeah, and it was like I got it through a friend of an agent. I didn't even know I wanted to act at the time. I didn't want to be an actor. It was a whole mess.
Right, but like, kudos to you for being like, okay, I can't come in here unprepared.
Yeah,
You know how many actors constantly do that?
I know.
Casting director told me like something between 70 and 80% of actors, like we have to like work with them to get them to a place, or we're like they shouldn't have come in here. They're unprepared.
See, that's like my worst nightmare for like auditioning. I know that front and back. Like I just can't.
No, especially like a big thing.
Yeah.
Because here's a great. I don't know if have you ever messed up in an audition and you turned it around and it actually became a good thing, or you messed up and you're like, actually, let me take that back. You took ownership.
Yep.
Do you know any specific story with it? If you don't, that's fine.
I can think of right now, but I've definitely done it before.
Yeah, but you take ownership of it, and then you just continue on.
Yeah.
That's professionalism right there.
Yeah. But I think that that's also part of like what I learned when I started viewing it as like more of a relationship with a casting person is because at first I was like, oh my God, did they see me mess up? Like I should just keep going, right? Like the show never stops, right? And that was like what the mindset was. And I always was like very, very memorized, but I think it actually took practice auditioning for me to have the confidence to be like, I messed that up. I'm going to go back. Like versus waiting for them to say it. It's so much better to just own it. Just be like a real person in the room. But
yeah. Be the best version of you.
yeah. But again, not that any of this advice seems to matter right now since 90% self-tapes.
It'll change. I hope it'll change. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I hope so too.
I can only imagine. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We're smart, right? Right?
I like to
so
think
insecure.
so.
Right?
I like to think so. I don't know. It's interesting.
So, now that things are coming back up to speed and acting's, filling up some of the time more, what have you been doing to stay sane during all this?
I would say like my primary source of sanity always for me is like working out.
Okay.
And I'm not like a big like gym person even, but I've always like been like that is my one thing I do to like kind of keep my sanity. My mom used to joke when I was in a bad mood as like a kid. She'd be like, "Go work out," because I'd like instantly shift my whole mood. It's like if I wasn't grew up very active, and I think that's why. So a lot of that, funny enough, started. Think the last time I was on your podcast, I'd never listened to a podcast in my whole life. Now I listen to podcasts.
Oh, awesome.
I go on walks a lot. Like I've just been doing a lot of those kinds of things that are like keep me sane. That was a bug.
Yeah. Or as my friend would say, a piece of lint.
Oh no.
What is that?
Oh no.
I love him to death. I couldn't believe he was calling it a piece of lint that flies.
Piece of lint that flies.
That's a little insane. Is it just like a certain kind of bug, or like just a general small fly?
Just
anything that looks like a piece of lint, like a speck. Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you get a chance, whenever this airs, the Guys Night episode, give it a listen.
I
or a
will.
watch.
I'm actually kind of excited. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my other buddy, he was in one of his rare forms.
Love
just
that.
So absurdly weird. That night, yeah, that was like a new level.
More extreme.
It was very extreme. He's gonna be a dad soon, so I think he's losing it.
Yeah, that's big. That definitely would make anyone lose it in its own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Piece of lint. I'll remember that. I'm luckily not too afraid of like bugs or anything, but some people really lose it for that.
Well, I'll tell you a fun little sneak prank I'm doing. It's actually 2 parts. So last Guys Night, I kind of freaked them out, saying I was going to get like a tiger or a mountain lion to come in, and I was prepping them like, hey, okay, we have our handler out there. Whatever you do, no sudden movements, no whatever. And he was like, Wesam, I'm leaving. No,
I can't believe he believed you. Oh my God.
And so I kind of told him, like, finally, after he freaked out a little bit, I told him, hey, there's nothing out there. I'm just joking with you.
Yeah.
But the next time we're doing this, I'm actually getting a tiger handler or a mountain lion handler.
Oh, that's so good.
So he thinks it's a bit.
Right. And then there's actually
a tiger that comes through that door.
That is like some serious commitment to the bit, but I appreciate that. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah. That makes me so happy on the inside.
Yeah, it's worth every penny. Yeah. Worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely so worth it.
To see the look on their faces.
Totally going to lose their shit, yeah.
That a tiger walked into this room?
I feel like that's just absurd on its own without the prior context of,
Oh my God. It feels like my heart is glowing when I know how they're going to react. I'm telling you, I would love to have a Netflix show where I just travel with my buddies and I lie to them about everything we're gonna do, and it ends up being stuff that's dangerous, horrifying, and very uncomfortable.
It's kind of a great premise. I mean, they'll eventually figure out that you're lying, so there are some possible holes in that. So they'll never believe you. They'll never trust you.
I'll be a good actor though about it. I like every single time. That'd be funny.
Every time.
But if it's the point of the show, they're eventually gonna catch it.
They don't have to know what the point of the show was. It can be a 1-season limited series. Here we are.
Guys, literally, it could be like at the beginning of every show, we're at the airport and be like, we're going to go here, and then they're going to be like, you're lying, Tess. I'm like, I'm not lying.
Never.
Guys,
how dare you not believe me?
We're not going to even film this one. The cameras are right there.
The finale, you actually go to the place.
Finale is we're going to the Congo, and we're doing the gorilla thing, where they see the real mountain gorillas.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Take the man.
Yes. Have you seen that video?
I haven't.
It is so amazing.
Okay, I'll have to look at it.
I'll show it to you at the end, but
I can't wait.
It's a full-grown man, right? Mm-hmm. And they're doing these things where they walk in the Congo. They walk for like a day, I believe, into the jungle. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that.
Oh, it's a hike. And
so interesting.
Yeah, they walk, and you have to like keep your heads down. Don't look at any of the gorillas in the eyes.
I can make no eye contact.
No eye contact, or you're literally dead. And this big silverback just comes, and he just starts walking away, but he grabs one of the guys by his legs and just starts dragging a full-grown man. He probably, 200-pound dude?
Oh my God.
Dragged him like he was nothing and just let him go, and just went into the forest. The guy's face, when he looked up, he was like,
oh my God.
Made me so happy. I laughed so hard when I saw it.
Well,
Oh.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
It sounds very interesting.
Oh, it makes me so happy imagining my buddies doing that with me.
I feel like I'm so much more active on the internet than I used to be, and yet I still feel so far behind like meme culture all the time. Like I did not watch Vine when Vine existed. And then like 2 years ago, my friends like got me into Vine compilations. So I was like what 5 years behind the trend, and then we were like quoting all of these vines all the time. And I'm like, I am aware that I'm kind of an old person in that sense, but I just feel I feel like the internet is always 10 paces ahead of me.
You're not alone.
Just
It's
can't-
too
I
fast.
can't- yeah, so fast.
Too fast. I'm enjoying now content where I'm like, oh, this is a 45-minute video? Great.
Yes.
I'm sticking to it. I'm tired of the fast stuff. Keep
I
that
think
for
I
TikTok.
am too.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think I am too. Although it is interesting, like I haven't posted anything or made a TikTok, but I certainly got on it during COVID.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. There's something about it. I can't figure out why it's, I mean, I guess it's just a very addictive platform, but that super short form thing, it's interesting what it's doing to our attention spans.
Yes. And if you don't have a good sense of awareness of
Yeah.
what it's doing to your attention span, that could really mess you up in terms of enjoying content.
Yeah. It was, yeah, it's an interesting thing. I just like went away and I didn't open anything for like a week. I like checked Instagram maybe once or twice and I was like, God, that felt really nice. Like it just feels kind of nice to not be on it sometimes.
Yeah.
But yet it's also hard to imagine life without it now, which is sort of sad.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, we are done with the live portion segment of Adobe Radio, but do not worry, the show continues on. The full episode is available tomorrow morning on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and also on the Adobe Radio app. So, goodbye. Thanks for tuning in live, and we'll see you on the other platforms. Bye. Show continues on.
Exciting.
Very exciting. What podcasts have you been listening to?
Okay, I listened to a lot of Dax Shepard, Monica Padman, Armchair Expert, a lot of that. I went on a huge binge. I just think they're so interesting. I've been listening to, have you ever listened to Ono, Ross, and Carrie? Oh, it's so fantastic. It's Ross and Carrie, and they investigate like fringe science and spiritual groups. So like they join these things, like they joined flat earthers, and they were like, and they investigate whether or not they really have a claim to what they, say and believe. And it's so fascinating. And I feel like I'm sort of like a pessimist about a lot of those types of things. And I just think that they do it so well and it's so interesting. They joined the Church of Scientology and they join like everything that you can basically infiltrate. It's really interesting.
That's really cool. Now, do they get really into them, like into the secret stuff of it?
Well, some of it, but some of it's just trying, like, he went and tried, like, ayahuasca at a retreat and was like, this is what that was like. And it's just kind of an interesting, they get into some of the secret stuff as you join the program and, like, programs of different things. But it's also more basics of, like, interviewing people that are super into astrology. I just think it's interesting because it's kind of like all of these different things that people latch onto and believe in and find really interesting. And they really genuinely go to like investigate if it's real. They don't go with like a very negative mindset. So I appreciate it for that reason.
That's pretty cool. I'll have to check out that one. That sounds
You
really
should.
interesting.
It's great. Oh no, Ross and Carrie, love it.
Yeah.
A lot of that. I'm trying to think of what else. I did like Serial and all of that early pandemic.
Right. I can't do those.
Yeah. What do you listen to?
It's a great question.
Do you listen to anything? About to out you as a podcaster who doesn't listen to podcasts.
I just
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Basically. I mean, it's a good choice.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
I just listened to the episodes Karan was on,
Oh,
and I just get really sad.
just really fall
Yeah.
asleep and just cry
Yeah,
yourself.
Yeah, I just cry a lot.
Tears of sadness.
Yeah. No.
Man, that boy.
I used to listen to a couple consistently,
Yeah.
but due to some events, I don't anymore, and I tried to get back into some of them, and I was like, that's just not the same.
Interesting.
And I know
Yeah.
I'm keeping that super vague, but I am an avid listener of the Congratulations podcast
Okay.
with
I
Chris
haven't heard
D'Elia.
that.
It's
Oh, yes. Yeah.
yes. I am. What else do I listen to? I used to listen to a lot of Joe Rogan. I've kind of like leveled out.
Yeah.
There's only certain episodes I want to tune into. with that. I'm trying to think of another one that's the Office podcast with Jenna Fisher and.
Is that good? I haven't listened yet, but I mean, I love The Office as everyone does.
You love The Office?
Of course.
Then this is the perfect podcast, and this is how I recommend watching it. Either listen to the episode first and then watch the episode, or watch the episode, like the first one, and then listen to the podcast, because then it's really fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
And you can see all the little things, and it's cool from a non-actor perspective, but it's especially cool whenever they talk about the acting stuff in there, and you're like, oh wow, they were going through like a lot of the same things as I was going through as a series regular, or with these scenes, they had trouble with that. Oh, that's so interesting. It worked, or they didn't work for that. It's just it's very, very nice and engaging.
I will have to listen. I haven't been sure because I've also don't want. Sometimes I get worried that too much behind the scene things almost could ruin a show for me. Because I feel like I also fixated on that anyway, as an actor. But also I've seen The Office so much that at this point, I feel like it's not even. I would be interested. I'm very curious. I heard that the guy from Gilmore Girls is watching everything for the first time. He's never seen the show and is watching each, which I think is also really an interesting concept.
Oh, that's a great concept for a podcast.
It's the guy who plays Luke or whatever. I haven't listened to it yet. I have no idea, but I do think it's interesting, this sort of idea of giving people watching it with the people who created it. It's kind of fun.
Gotcha.
It's a good idea.
So I have the video of the gorilla thing.
Oh, I'm so excited. I would love to see it.
Okay.
I would love to see a man being swept away by a gorilla. This is what dreams are made of. Oh my gosh. Oh my, they're so big. Oh, he's just not.
Had a brush with death. Okay, cool.
I'm just gonna get back up now. Wow.
The idea of just being grabbed by a wild animal.
That's. Are you a daredevil at all? Into, that's not daredevil, but into risky stuff, skydiving or any of that? I'm not at all.
Yes.
This is me saying I'm very risk averse, but.
Gotcha. Yes, it just depends on the activity.
Yeah, I just would never do that. I just would never get that close to a large gorilla. That's terrifying to me.
Yeah, I want to, just to see what would happen.
See, that's, yep.
How would I react? How would I feel?
You.
And how real that would feel. Life is real right now.
That would feel very real.
When I've gone to the zoo, I'm always thinking about caveman days, and I see the zebras, and I'm like, if I got kicked by one, I'm dead.
Oh, yeah. Which is funny, too, because zebras look so nice, and they don't look like they could just kill you by, kicking you, but absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Some gnarly video. Oh, you probably don't want to follow then the Instagram account Nature is Metal.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying to me.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. It shows you how nature is really no rules.
Didn't I start by saying that I can't even download the Ring app because I can't even look at Nextdoor because I'm so afraid of, risk-averse person.
Risk-averse person. That's a good survival trait, though.
It is. You know what? It is a good survival trait. That's true. And I never broke a bone as a kid, so I guess there's something for that. Yeah.
Lucky.
I did not. Well, yeah, I was I grew up dancing, and I was so serious about it that I was never going to put myself in a position to get injured, which I realize is now a lot. As a 10-year-old, I sometimes wish I would have jumped on trampolines, but no, that was off limit. Well, I was so, and I ended up having ankle surgery on both my ankles at 13 for a completely natural genetic reason.
Oh.
It was essentially the bone was too long, and so it was causing the strain and then micro tears in my Achilles. Anyway, had that shaved off of both my ankles, couldn't walk, had boots. It was kind of hilarious now when I look back, but a lot as a child.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wouldn't roller skate, wouldn't do anything, which sometimes I'm now I wonder I'm uncoordinated and can't do anything, but I never did break a bone, so I do have that. That is true.
Maybe it was for the best. There's stuff I look back that I did as a kid.
Yeah.
And a young adult that I'm what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? But I think a part of that was the fact that I grew up in a very strict household. And so there was moments in the day or the week where I could really get the energy out, express myself, and yeah.
It's self-exploration as a kid,
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely.
And I did not, like, my parents were not very strict, but I also was such a disciplined child that there was an element of my mom would be like, you should go do things and like have fun, and I was like, must go to dance class. So
Yeah.
it was just a different thing. But I think that it's interesting because so many people do look back and they're like, wow, I was very reckless as a kid, and sometimes I wish I was more. Like I'm like, now I can't imagine doing all those, being as fearless as children, but I'm like, I don't think I even really was as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I sort of wish I had that, had all those like experiences under my belt. But then again, I turned out just fine without like, jumping on a trampoline. I was okay. I didn't need to learn how to do a flip. I survived.
How was working on LA's Finest? I saw that.
Yeah, it was great. You know what's really interesting about that show is I just recently heard that it's coming in. Our second season's coming to Netflix on June 9th. And that's been really interesting because it's so delayed from when it actually came out, really on Spectrum or whatever, that like so many more people have found it, which is just kind of strange in waves. But working on that show was amazing. I loved it. I thought it was a big like growing experience for me as an actor. And Gabrielle Union and Jessica Alba were like the stars of it, and they also were the executive producers, and they're so fucking cool. Like both of them know what they want and have so much respect of the people who work for them without just being total assholes, that it's like it's such an incredible skill to me. And I don't know, it was really interesting to watch them work and learn a lot from them. And but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was interesting, like shaving my head and stuff. I don't know that I need to do that again.
Yeah.
But overall, like a pretty positive experience.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was different. It was the first time I had worked on a set where there wasn't really anyone my age, which I found to be kind of a different experience. But like I said, there was so much learning involved.
Yeah.
That I value a lot.
Absolutely. That's the best. Whenever you got experienced actors on set.
Yeah. And I feel like it helped me get comfortable too. I was always more nervous with drama.
Yeah.
And it was sort of cool to have a group of people who thought I could do it, because I was like, well, they all think I can, so I got to show up and do it.
Yeah.
Like that I don't have a choice anymore, and that pushed me in a lot of ways. I guess that's really just a confidence thing, but yeah. So that's been interesting, and it has been cool that people have been finding it sort of on this weird delay. Because our first season was on Spectrum exclusively, which so many people don't have cable anymore, including myself. And then it was on Fox, and then it was on Netflix. So it's just kind of bounced homes.
Lucky.
Yeah, I do feel like lucky in a sense. But it's interesting because I also don't know how people find it. Like when it comes out on Netflix, I'm like, I don't know. There's just no one marketing it. But
yeah,
it's been interesting.
That's the future, I think, of somewhat of all these streaming services, shows just popping up out of nowhere. So many shows, like my management company, I like going through their clients and seeing who's working on what or what new bookings they have through their latest clients. And then I'm like, I don't know, where's that show on? And then it's like, like Hulu or something. I'm like, oh, I have Hulu, but I don't know that show. Or what's the other one? Disney Plus? Yeah, Disney Plus obviously has stuff on there. There's another one that's just so bizarre.
God.
There's so many now.
There's so many. There's like Crackle, and there's like a million different.
Yeah. CBS 2, right?
I think so. But then I think all those just became Paramount, so I don't know.
I just got Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's probably what I was thinking of.
Well,
then.
that just merged like a ton. There's so many now, and that is all new, and it's changed the way we like digest our content, though. In a very, I think in one ways it's like made everything so much more accessible. Like Schitt's Creek, the phenomenon of whatever, has like been around for years and got this massive audience through Netflix, and that's happened to so many shows.
Yeah.
But I think it also makes things harder to find and harder to. It's like once something gets traction, it's like everybody can have access to it, which is amazing. And it's sort of like music streaming services where it's like there's just a lot more ability to find your niche show. Like everything's maybe not being watched as much as it was when there was 3 channels, but it is like there's more of an audience for every kind of genre and kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Which I can appreciate. And I think, I don't know.
What are you the type of person you want to watch a show weekly, or you want to binge watch it?
I think I've become a binger. And I didn't used to be, like, I used to kind of be the person who's like, I don't know if I like the binging No, I'm totally into it now.
Yeah.
I think, and that was another thing that I thought was interesting about LA's Finest is I felt like it was designed for binging, and I didn't watch it when it was coming out on Fox, but my parents rewatched it and they were like, "Oh, it's an interesting thing to see it like separated week by week." Like,
Yeah.
I think I liked it so much more when I binged it. And I was like, "That's really interesting." It kind of made me want to like watch an episode a week because I think that there's something to be said about how much it changes your content, and like our memories are so they go ways. But like I love Game of Thrones, and that was on week to week, but I also binged it, so I don't know.
Yeah. It gave me too much anxiety. I messed up with that one and Breaking Bad. I binge watched the first 5 seasons, and I was like, "This is great."
Yeah.
Then the 6th season came along, and I had to watch it week to week.
Week to week, yeah.
It drove me crazy.
Yes. And I always think that that's interesting when you're really into a show, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm out of seasons, and now I must wait weekly." And is it Hulu that still puts them out weekly? I think it is.
I think it just depends on the show, because HBO does that as well, or it did do that for
they
certain
do.
show.
They still do that, and I think that that's a lot of times I wait because I kind of want to binge it all. But
Yeah.
it depends. It depends on the kind of show, and if I don't want spoilers or something.
Right. Oh, that's
But-
also another thing. Are you going to stay the whole week, like not
Yeah. No. Right.
on
like
the internet? You're like,
totally. That is a. But I also think that there's a culture of nobody's watching things at the same time anymore. So there is, unless it is like a phenomenon like Game of Thrones or something.
Yeah.
There isn't going to be those spoilers
gotcha.
as much. But I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's interesting.
It is. I don't know what's going to happen with this industry. I'm just playing it by ear and hoping to work again soon.
Yeah, for me, it's just like a bonus when people are able to find it and see it. Like, I really love that, and that's awesome to hear. But also, I just love doing the job. That it's like, however it's distributed, like that's after me. Like,
Yeah.
I did the work and I did it, and we'll see what happens. But it is fun when you're like, oh, people can find this show and see it.
Yeah. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has been fun.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It was good.
I'd like to do the next one with you and Karan.
I know, we should. We should get us both on here.
Yeah, maybe we'll play a game. Play the humming game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It's a fun game.
Is
It's a
it
fun,
the-
quick game.
Is it like where you hum and they have to guess like what you're saying?
Or what you're singing, what song it's from. So you have cards that
Oh.
you pull.
He's gonna be terrible at that. He is like couldn't name songs or lyrics for the life of him.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'll demolish him.
we're just
We're
have-
just gonna like destroy. Be great.
Still involved with the Cameron Boyce Foundation,
Yes.
correct? I just want to make sure people are able
Yeah.
to go
No,
donate.
the Cameron Boyce Foundation. Check us out. We do a lot for epilepsy research, as well as like gun violence and a few other things. But our primary thing really is epilepsy. And actually, this month of May, which I don't know when this is coming out, we are running a big campaign because Cameron's birthday is May 28th.
Oh, I think this will come out fairly soon.
Yeah.
So that was great.
So yeah, May 28th is his birthday. So we like to sort of like do a yearly. This is our kind of our big fundraising thing because I don't know, it feels right to honor him around his birthday. So yeah, just check us out and go to the website CameronBoyceFoundation.org.
Well, that's awesome what you guys did. Seriously.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been really
it's great.
special for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, good humans all around.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me share.
Of course, of course. And you're Sophie Reynolds 1.
Sophie One Reynolds.
Sophie
It
One
was
Reynolds.
really there was very few options when I was setting that one up.
Yeah.
So it's Sophie, then the number 1 Reynolds.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Peyton, play us out. Thank you, Adobe Radio. Thank you, Nice Guy Digital. Thank you to Peyton, Alexandra, Gorski for your producing prowesses on the show. Thank you to Sophie. Thank you to our sponsor, Pretty Litter. Make sure you check out Pretty Litter and go to, or use promo code 20%. Oh, here we go. Use promo code WESAM for 20% off. Almost did it. Almost did it.
Almost. It was so simple, too.
Right? Forgot my name. Yeah. Thank you to all of our new subscribers and listeners. And always remember to listen, think, and then talk. Bye.